wasn't it, in the Italian press? What are they saying today?
Non me ne vado, I'm not going anywhere. That's the headline at Il Giornale. That's a paper still loyal to Berlusconi. It's run by his brother Paolo, and their editorial calls the international markets a herd of cows following different rumours around in different directions. They're scarcely more polite about those parliamentarians who were once Berlusconi supporters who've now decided to change sides and desert him. They say they're letting Italy's interests drop by the wayside for their own personal advantage. Now, Berlusconi did give one interview yesterday among all of those chaotic rumours flying around about what he's going to do next. That was to Libero, so let's have a look at that interview. Inside he says, "I want to look in the eyes of those who would betray me and see them vote against me." He tells them he's waiting for the outcome of today's vote, saying he doesn't believe some of those parliamentarians have the guts to actually vote against him.
And it seems as though a lot of the Italian press now kind of saying that they do want him to go.
Yes, left-wing La Repubblica, of course, has been gunning for him to go for ages, but now their editorial is quite interesting. The headline is, "The Prime Minister is in the bunker, but the work still comes second." They say yesterday, instead of negotiating to sort out Italy's financial problems, he spent part of the day having dinner with his family and part of it updating his Facebook status. We can even have a look at his Facebook page. He put a status update yesterday saying, "The rumours of my resignation are groundless." So you can have a look at that. If we have a look at their cartoon, they've got one figure there saying to the other, well, the country has decided what is more important, saving Italy or saving the Prime Minister. And the other figure replies, well, so is the Prime Minister. In other words, the country has decided to get rid of him, but he's determined to hang on.
It's a good one for cartoonists, isn't it? You put out some others in the British papers.
Yes, some of these have had a field day. Look at this one from The Independent, Stuart. We've got Berlusconi with the Leaning Tower of Pisa looking rather floppy, emerging from his flies there.
No comment.
Yeah, no, if we have a look at the Telegraph as well, they're on a similar theme. They've got Berlusconi with his trousers round his ankles in the Telegraph saying, "Crisis? What crisis? This happens all the time."
I do like the cartoons. OK, completely different story now. International Atomic Energy Agency, due to release that report that we've been talking about today on Iran's nuclear ambitions. Most of it's already been leaked, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Washington Post got to this first, so they've got all the details. They say Iran does now have the nuclear capability to build a warhead small enough to put it on a ballistic missile. Now, that sounds terrifying, but the paper says just because they've got it, that doesn't necessarily mean they plan to use it. They're mostly using it as a kind of part of a game of international brinkmanship against Israel.
And the Israeli papers are a little concerned that Netanyahu may not have quite as much international support if he were to decide he wants to take military action.
Sarkozy calls Netanyahu a liar. That's a headline today in the Israeli website Ynet News. Now, this comes from a recording that apparently was overheard, a conversation between Sarkozy and Obama at the G20, in which Sarkozy said to Obama that he couldn't stand Netanyahu, and the American president replied, "Well, you think he's getting on your nerves. I have to talk to him every day." So apparently journalists there agreed not to reveal this conversation, but it's been leaked now. Finally, a sports story for you, Stuart. Now, what is going to go up in a balloon in Cornwall, up Snowdon on a train, across Lake Windermere on a paddle steamer, go ziplining off the Tyne Bridge in Newcastle, and up the chairlift on Allen Bay in the Isle of Wight?
It's not you on your holiday, is it? Or...
It's not. If I was going to go 8,000 miles around the whole of the UK, that would be quite a holiday, wouldn't it?
8,000
No,
miles? Okay.
It's the Olympic Torch, which is doing all of those things in an 8,000-mile circuit, where it's going to be carried by over 2,000 members of the public. But as The Guardian puts it, it sounds like its route was inspired more by wacky races than by the Olympic Games.
You have pulled out some classics there. All right, Elena, thanks a lot. That's Elena there with the international papers today. Still to come, Let the Battle Commence. The latest modern warfare release goes on sale as the lines between cinema and games become increasingly blurred. We're going to have that, plus the latest on how the markets are treating Italy. It's in the business after the break.